All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. In this video, we're going to do a little wrap up from the last couple games from the last couple days. We're going to talk about in depth Lakers versus Mavs, um, Cavs versus Magic, and Timberwolves versus Warriors. We also have some other games in here I do want to talk about, and some news I want to talk about at the end. So if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So, first game from the other day, from, let's see, when was this game? From the 24th, from Saturday. So a bit ago, but I still want to talk about it because it was Luka's return to Dallas for the second or third time, I believe. And this was one of the most energetic wins I've seen from the Lakers this year, and it was really positive. And when I was watching it, when they were down in the third, I was like, oh, I'm not sure they're going to get back into this game. They're kind of notorious for not getting back into games or being able to get over the hump. Maybe they'll tie the game again, but I don't know if they'll get back into it and really push for the win. And they did, and they had a lot of great energy. They had a lot of great plays down the stretch. The Lakers won this game 116 to the Dallas Mavericks 110 on the back of a superb Luka Doncic game. Standard stuff for him: 33 points, 3 of 8 from 3, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, 5 turnovers. Not great there. Only 2 fouls, though. 1 block, 1 steal for Luka as well. Did not really show up in the second half of this game, specifically in the fourth, but everybody else did. And I think that's the most important thing from this game. And the most important takeaway is that Luka did not have the greatest fourth quarter, but the rest of the team showed up. LeBron James at 17, Jake LaRavia at 13, Marcus Smart at 13, Rui Hachimura had 17. He had the game of his life, or the game of his season. This was one of his better games that I've seen personally with like my 2 eyes watching Rui Hachimura. Really good stuff for him. 4 of 7 from 3. Really critical shots down the stretch and to get them back into this game. Now, DeAndre Ayton, still on this team. 9 points, 11 rebounds, 4 personal fouls. Not great. Is he still the problem on this team? I I never thought he was the solution, and I don't I don't see a team with DeAndre Ayton on it being really good. This was a really good effort from the whole team. Sans like a DeAndre Ayton. He had some good like early minutes in the game, and then he kind of faded and came back and faded and came back, and it wasn't. He was probably the most low energy guy out there actually. Um, in this win for the Lakers, and that's saying a lot because there are some nights where you can look at some of these guys on this team and be like, yeah, if they have a bad game or they are low energy, they're not gonna get this win. But guys like Marcus Smart, LeBron James, when he's engaged, one of the most active players, Marcus Smart and LeBron. Jared Vanderbilt engaged, Rui Hachimura engaged and making shots, and that's what really turned the course of this game. And I'm gonna say a few times as we talk about this game. I just love the energy from the Lakers. They matched the Mavericks' energy so well in this game, even in a away game in Dallas. It was superb, and the Mavericks have come out over the last couple weeks and had really good energy, and that's how they've won games. They've jumped on teams early. They've gone out to big leads. They've gone out of close games as well because of their energy, because of the stuff they do. And the Lakers went out there and matched it perfectly. The story of this game in the first 3 quarters essentially was the Mavericks, their energy, their shot making, the ball movement, the cutting, all that stuff. And then in the fourth, it turned around and the Lakers started doing all that stuff. And the Mavericks really didn't have an answer for it. I guess they weren't prepared for the Lakers to fight back. Um, for the Mavericks, Caleb Martin, 17, hit some really great threes when they needed them the most. Some great cutting moments as well. Had a He had a great dunk, if I remember correctly. He had a really good dunk in transition. And Najee Marshall, 21. I've been so impressed with Najee Marshall. I said it like a couple weeks ago. I never saw this from Najee Marshall. I never saw him as like a secondary scorer, let alone like a primary scorer on a team that should be really bad, but is in a lot of these games. And they're 19-27 right now. They're 14-12 at home, so they're positive at home. And they go on the road and they kick some ass as well sometimes. Cooper Flag, 16 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. Really good stuff from Cooper Flag. Looking more comfortable every game I watch him. We'll talk about him in Rookie of the Year here in a second. Max Christie, also never saw this from Max Christie. 24 points, 4 of 10 from three, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. Max Christie is so interesting because I was never what I saw from Max Christie when he was a Laker and now he's a Maverick. I was like, I don't know, maybe given the opportunity, he could be something. And that's all dependent on the opportunity and the player seizing the opportunity. And Max Christie has seized the opportunity um, with Kyrie being out, with Anthony Davis being out, with a bunch of these guys being out, and him having to handle the ball more, being trusted with more big shots. It's beautiful to watch. He's usually gets it in the flow of the offense. He doesn't disrupt the offense too much. Cooper does this thing, Najee does this thing, and then everybody else sort of has to fall in around those two guys. And Max Christie is usually the third option on that on any given night. So really good for him. PJ Washington, no show, 2 points. Um, Daniel Gafford, 2 points. Had a crazy block. He had a really insane block. I forget who was on. It might have been on Rui or Jared Vanderbilt at some point. It was a really good block. Clay Thompson, no show, 6 points. Ryan Nemhard, garbage time, 2 points. And Brandon Williams, a guy who I've really liked on this Dallas Mavericks team, and I hope they keep him around for the long term. 20 points, 8 of 7 from 17, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, um, 2 personal fouls. Nothing crazy, nothing insane. Some stuff I have been seeing about Brandon Williams that some Mavericks fans don't like him because he does hijack the offense, and um, I've just been like so surprised by Brandon Williams. I haven't really noticed it, and then I was focusing in on it this game, and I did realize he does hijack the offense a lot. And he gets his 20 points and he keeps him in games, but sometimes he does a little too much and he gets him out of games. Which was I don't want to say was the situation in this game, but he didn't really help um, in the fourth and closing minutes where they could have possibly gotten the win. Um, Cooper Flag, Rookie of the Year, buzz. I haven't talked about Rookie of the Year at all this season, and this feels like a good time because we're heading towards the mid-season point. Um, and Cooper Flag, number one pick, um, been top three in Rookie of the Year. We'll say rankings um, since he started. Maybe there was one time where he wasn't in the top three of the rankings, but I, I hear a lot of people that like, of course he's gonna win it. He has to win it. Um, blah blah blah. And then you have some people who are fans of Colin Kneppel in Charlotte. I like Colin a lot. Um, I think what he's managed to do as a rookie is super interesting, and it puts a huge light into the future. Like he could be up there and be like a borderline all star sort of player. Really good shooter, moves the ball, not selfish, that sort of thing. But I try not to be influenced by the wins and losses with Rookie of the Year. And when you looked at this team at the beginning of the year, you would have been like, oh, this team, if this team isn't good, then Cooper Flag's having a bad rookie year, and Anthony Davis is out, and Kyrie's still out. And those things are true. But I think the two of those things are true. One of them isn't. I think Cooper Flag's having a really good rookie year, all things considered. all of the stuff that's going on with the Mavericks and has gone on, all the all the stuff that he's had to endure, we'll say. The roster being not what you probably think it was going to be coming into this year. Having to play with, no offense, Dwight Powell and like PJ Washington and Ryan Nemhard, like these aren't the names you think you're getting a lot of minutes with, but here you are in January getting a lot of minutes with a lot of these guys, and I think he's made the best of it. Them being 19 and 27, I still think is an achievement. They could be way worse. Um, Cooper has gone through some injury stuff, and has managed to come back, bounce back, and be able to play a majority of his rookie season. So that's also very good to see. And for me, I don't think Cooper Flag has had a game yet. Like a really like. I mean, okay, he hasn't had a game where he's like, okay, this is the one where I'm rookie of the year, or I'm like, well, there's been some games where it's like, oh, I'm the next young like star of this team. There's been a couple of those, but there's been a game where you're like, okay, this is the definitive rookie of the year. I'm looking through his game logs right now. He only has what's this one, one, two, three, three. Yeah, he only has 3 games of 30 plus points. He gets close. He hangs around like 27, 28. He only has one 40-point game as well. I need like maybe like 1 to 2 40-point games or like a 30-point triple double at some point to really solidify the vote for me for him to be rookie of the year. I think Khan makes a really good case. I think Khan even just being in the conversation is great, but it's Cooper's award to lose. I think he needs to put like in two like crazy performances, and then we could be like, okay, let's stop the conversation. It's Cooper. Let's move on. Speaking of Knipple and the Charlotte Hornets, I do want to talk about this game very briefly. The Philadelphia 76ers went into Charlotte off a loss versus the Knicks, trying to recover after that loss. They're in Charlotte. They're going to play the Hornets. The Hornets are 9 games below 500. They're not great. They're 9 and 13 at home. They're not really good at all. They have some bright spots, but they're not good at all. And the Philadelphia 76ers are without Paul George. They're without um, Joel Embiid. They're without the other guys, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, other guys. And the Hornets are fully healthy. And you think, oh, even though like oh, the 76ers aren't fully healthy, they have Maxey, they have Edgecombe, they could win this game, right? They have Quentin Grimes, they could win this game. They did not win this game. In fact, the game was over at halftime. And the game was effective. The game was really over at the final buzzer. And the 76ers got embarrassed. They scored 93 points. Yes, 93. And the Charlotte Hornets scored 130 points right on their head. Going through some of the numbers here. Brandon Miller, 30. Brandon Miller looked great in this game. I watched the highlights for this game. He looked amazing. One of the better Brandon Miller games I've seen. LaMelo did not have a particularly good game. Didn't even assist the ball well. Didn't even have a good assist to turnover ratio. But the rest of the guys picked it up. Almost everybody on this team was in double digits. Bridges double digits. Musa double digits. Conkanipple double digits, 5 of 9 from field goal, 2 of 5 from 3. Grant Williams almost double digits, 9. Ron Kalkbrenner, 13. Colin Sexton, 10. Josh Green, 12. They came out to play, and the Sixers were not ready. Were not ready. And this was an embarrassing loss, and this marks their second loss. Like I said, they lost to the Knicks before. That was a closer game, though. And then now they're heading to Milwaukee tonight without Giannis in the lineup for the Bucks, and maybe trying to recover some dignity. And then they go on they're back home. These are next 3 games are at home, and then they go on a little road trip um, to end to begin February, and then go into All Star break. So yeah, we'll see. We will see what happens with them. But you could say this was just a loss without um, Joel and Paul George. But any team that loses to the Hornets, I have question marks about, and that does include the Oklahoma City Thunder, which we'll talk about at the end of this video. Moving on here, um, Orlando Magic versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers got the win, 114 to the Orlando Magic's 98 points. Um, I have more thoughts than I do want to. I have more thoughts than actual game talk I do want to do with this section, talking about this game. Um, the Orlando Magic were without Franz Wagner, without Jet Howard, without Goga. Rest of the team was healthy. The Cleveland Cavaliers were without DeAndre Hunter, without Thomas Bryant, without Darius Garland. So both these teams kind of banged up. But I have questions about the Orlando Magic, and I'm starting to question my fandom, my belief in one Paulo Banchero, supposed to be the star of this Magic team. If you look at the box score, you're like, oh, Paulo had like 37 points, 13 for 21, not great, 205 from three, um, 9 of 13 from free throw, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, only 1 foul. Like, that's a good game, right? I watched this game, and I swear this is the most disappointed I've been in Paulo um, since I started watching him. And I started watching him when he was in college at Duke. And man, oh man, is Paulo a tough watch? 37 is great. It was a great 37 points. There were times where they were just daring him to shoot a three, and he refused to shoot a three. Absolutely refused. Even though he took 5 of them, um, some of them were just wide open, and he just didn't want to take it. And he drove the ball instead down the lane. And I get that's his game. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's been doing his whole life. But man, is it a tough watch? And I had this conversation. I don't know if I had it here. I just had it in my mind. Um, but when I was thinking about this team, and this was early in the season when both Paulo and Franz were out, and one of them would come back, and then one of them would go out, or it would just be Paulo, like it was against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I start to get very worried that Paulo does not have a traditional guard to help him get into his sets and help him feel more confident in his play. Because Paulo, for what he is a like an ISO sort of Carmelo Anthony. Um, this is a deep cut, Maurice Spates like level sort of player. Like likes it near the paint, likes it on the block, likes to do all this stuff. Move the ball around, dribble it, spin. I'm gonna say something kind of disrespectful here, but like Paulo Banchero is like a worse version of Pascal Siakam. That's what he is right now. And I'm not the biggest Pascal Siakam fan. I've been impressed with Pascal over the past couple years when he's been in the Pacers jersey, but before that, I was like, I had the same questions about Pascal. I was like, is Pascal really this guy? Like, I don't know. He needs to improve at these things. And Paulo right now isn't better than Pascal Siakam. And I said it, and I'm not afraid to say it. Um, I just get so frustrated watching him play because you know what he wants to do, and that's the problem. I know what he's going to do. Like I truly know what he's gonna do. Like I can't I can't and for me it's so disturbing to watch. Or it's so like hard. It's a hard watch because like I just can't root for a guy who's just a ball hog. And granted he does what he has to do to try to get his team to win. They only lost by what is that, like 16 points? Yeah, 16 points. Like that's not a bad loss. but like the rest of the guys aren't helpful either. Um, Bain is not a facilitator. He had 19 points on the night. Jalen Suggs is not a facilitator either, even though he had 6 assists, highest assist total for the team. Not a facilitator like that. Only 4 points on the day. And you have Tony Orlando, Anthony Black, who is more of a modern scorer than Paulo, which is crazy to say. I like watching Anthony Black more than I like watching Paulo. He had 14 on the night, 2 of 9 from three, 6 to 14 overall from field goal. Not the greatest night, splits wise, but overall, I just like watching him more. 4 rebounds for Anthony Black and 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 3 steals for Anthony Black as well. No defensive stats for Paulo either, by the way. Um, and then you have the rest of the guys on this team, some garbage time minutes, not worth my breath. But yeah, I was deeply as I watched this game, I grew deeply concerned about this Magic team because Paulo was just trying and trying and trying, and the Cavs were just stuffing the paint on him and just couldn't get anything. And it did get close. There were some moments where the Orlando Magic got really close, and it just never felt like they had the momentum or they were even in control or they were playing the way they wanted to play. Or actually, no, they were playing the way they wanted to play. But the problem was that it was the way Paulo wanted to play. And Paulo being a black hole in offense right now did not help this team. Um, and the Cleveland Cavaliers won this game without 2 of their core players. Um, yeah. So for the Cavs here, um, Donovan Mitchell 45, split right down the middle, 15 for 25, 5 of 8 from 3, 10 free throws made, 12 taken, 4 turnovers, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 45. um, really good game for Donovan Mitchell. Just got his head down, did what he needed to do. And as I was watching this game, right, you look at 2 sort of dynamic scorers, quote unquote, in Paulo and Donovan Mitchell. And I was trying to figure out what is the difference in them? Like, what is the difference in between them? You know, because they both scored a lot this game, and they both sort of work in the same. We won't say in the same wheelhouse, but like adjacent to each other. And the biggest difference is that Donovan gets to his moves quicker. Donovan doesn't take 5 years to get to his move, and if he does, you know he's going to make it. Like like if he takes 5 years to get past somebody and get a layup and take this tough angle, you know it's going in. I mean, last night, wasn't the greatest example. 15 of 25, split it right down the middle. But you catch my drift. You know what I mean? Like when Donovan takes these tough shots, he's making them, and Donovan is a certified tough shot maker. I don't. Maybe we're just waiting for Paulo to advance his game a little bit. But being the franchise player, you don't get that patience, man. Um, Maybe you do. I don't know. But like time is always ticking, and like we'll see what happens with the Magic. But anyway, back to my point is like Donovan gets the job done because he's effective and he's quick with his moves. Paulo takes like 5 years to get to his one move, his second move that he does. It's like, ugh. And then like you have Evan Mobley, they're just standing there like, yeah, no, you're not doing this. I'm like 5 inches, 6 inches taller than you. Like you're just not getting the shot off right now. Like it's sort of embarrassing for Paulo. And the thing about Donovan Mitchell is he's a small player, but man, does he play big? Does he just get in there, get in the paint, just take the beating and get right back up? And very rarely complains. And I'm not saying Paulo doesn't complain either, so that's a positive about it. But I think Donovan Mitchell is just a way more energetic. Energetic's the word of the day. I can't keep using that word. Way more he's more aggressive with his moves. He's more passionate with his moves. He's more authoritative with his moves. Is what I'm getting at. And for the game, like I said, Cavs are missing some players. Evan Mobley, 20 points, really good game for him. Made 1 3, took 3 of them. That's the other thing about Paulo. Paulo refuses to take a three. I want Paulo to be more like Evan Mobley. Where Evan Mobley, he'll realize he's open. Like, I haven't shot one in a while. Why not? And he'll just shoot one. And he only made 1 of them, but he took 3 of them. and he always shoots it with confidence, especially this year. Evan Mobley has shot every three he's taken I've seen with complete confidence. Um, Dean Wade got the start, 6 points for the Cavs. Jared Allen, 9 points, 4 rebounds. Not the best night for him, but it's whatever. Um, Off the bench, Naquan Tomlin, 8 points. Tyrese Proctor, 6 points. And a guy I really want to talk about because I've been talking about him all year, and he's been recognized by the NBA finally. And that guy is Jalen Tyson, top right of your screen, number 20. Man, oh man. The whole Cavs game, Cavs Magic game on the right side of your screen. But man, oh man, what a recognition for Jalen Tyson. And I've been on Jalen Tyson all year. I think from like the first game he actually really played, I was like, I like this kid a lot. He does all the right things. He shoots the ball, he drives the ball, he does everything you need him to do in a deduced role at the beginning of the year. And just how many games are we in? 48 games in. Yeah, 40, 48, yeah, 48 games. Damn, we're already 48 games in. 48 games in, his role has expanded. He's taken um, we'll say advantage of Darius Garland being out, some of the Max Struess being out, some of the other guys being out, and given the chance to expand his role, and he's done it in spades. He was selected to participate in the Rising Stars game that was announced yesterday, along with a bunch of other players. But Tyrese or Jalen Tyson um, was one of the guys I've been on all season, and I'm just happy to see him be recognized by the NBA at large for improving his game and taking real pride in being like, okay, my number has been called. Let me take everything I can and not waste this opportunity. So yeah, shout out to Jalen Tyson, man. Really good stuff. And yeah, let's move on to the other game. The Portland Trailblazers did play the Boston Celtics. I was going to talk about this a little bit, but like after watching the highlights of this game, it was okay. It was all right. It was a close game. It was a tight game. Um, it was one of the better games. I will say that it was one of the better games because the Cavs kind of dispatched the Magic. It was like, ugh. And then like the next game we're going to talk about was really bad. That one we spend a brief time on, and then we'll get to a little bit of news. But um, yeah, let's skip this one. Blazers lost this game. Celtics won this game 102 to the Blazers 94. I believe, yeah, the Blazers without Denny, and they gave the Celtics a fight. So that's something to be proud of there. Really, really steady game for the Blazers, and they were moving the ball. They were doing all the things you want them to do. Tumani looked great, 18 points. Drew Holiday in his return to Boston, 14 points. But the Celtics just had an answer for everything. Pritchard, 23, Brown, 20, Sam Hauser, 11 in a start. Um, Amari Williams, 9. I believe he's a center, right? He threw down a dunk at some point. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, Amari Williams. Yep, threw down a great dunk at one point. And then Anthony Simons, 12. Anthony Simons back in trade talks. We'll see what happens with him. um, Next thing, and I have to do a little prelude to this game or the game before this game because these teams played twice, and there's supposed to be a day in between. Warriors versus Minnesota. Um, the Warriors and Minnesota and the NBA had to postpone their original date for this game because of what happened in Minnesota. Um, Obviously, this is not a political channel, but I will say, you know, what happened in Minnesota and the stuff that happened after Minnesota and what the epicenter of what started with everything that happened in Minnesota um, was just violent and disturbing and disgusting. Um, and that's all I'm going to say about it because, again, this isn't a political channel. So, yeah, I just had to say that here because the game had to be postponed. The NBA pulled that. They're the only people that can postpone a game unless the players decide to strike, which neither team wanted to at that point, I don't think. And this game was in Minnesota. So the NBA pulled that. They said, hey, we'll postpone the game. There's a lot going on in Minnesota. Let's just postpone it for safety reasons for the fans and the players, and let's play it the next game the next day, which made it a back-to-back, which made it a Sunday and Monday game. The first matchup between these two teams, um, the Warriors blew out the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had a field day, um, and then the Wolves came back on prime time on Peacock/NBC, and they said, we didn't like that. We didn't like that. We're gonna show you what we can do. And the Timberwolves absolutely blew out the Golden State Warriors. No Steph Curry, no Draymond Green, no nobody. It was the G League Warriors versus the essentially fully healthy Timberwolves, except Anthony Edwards, who also didn't play in this game. And the Warriors, they tried. Um, every one of their starters was in double digits. Nobody got close to 20 on the Warriors team. And the Timberwolves had a really good day. Julius Randle, 18 points. Jaden McDaniels, 14. Rudy Gobert, 15. Dante DiVincenzo, 15. Nas Reed, 15. Bones Highland, 17. Um, Nas Reed, 15. This was an embarrassing game for the Warriors. And it was an embarrassing. The one thing I do want to talk about, because this game was just a blowout, there's nothing to talk about really. But the one thing I do want to talk about is how damning this was for Steve Kerr as a coach of the Warriors. Could not get anybody up to play. Like once they were down, they were down. Moses Moody brought the energy. Pat Spencer brought the energy. Um, Buddy Hield brought some energy. Will Richard brought a lot of energy. But some of these other guys, they were just out there to be out there, just to collect their game check. Um, I didn't like. I saw the bones of what Steve Kerr wanted to do. Like you saw, like okay, this is what I use. All right, sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. Where were we? You could see the bones of what Steve Kerr wanted to do, and you could see he wanted to coach a little bit, and the stuff was there where you could see like some of the actions and some of the plays they were running. Like, oh, this would normally be Draymond screening for Steph, or this would be Draymond screening for Clay, or this would be X, Y, or Z, and like it was the worst possible people to be running those plays. I mean, Pat Spencer's always interesting to watch. I like Pat Spencer. I'm rooting for Quentin Post as a starting center in this league. Not looking great at this moment. Moses Moody, the most veteran player on this team, like as a Warrior. Yeah, yeah, I think yeah. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know what happened this game. This was a game in January. How about that? We put it that way. This was a complete game in January, and it was a devastating loss for the Warriors, who are desperately trying to cling to being above 500. They're 26-22 right now, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are 28-19 and 16-8 at home, and the Warriors regress to 9-15 in away games. So yeah, that's it for the game talk. I do here want to talk about right at the end some more Giannis stuff, some Giannis rumors. Bucks Bucks franchise player who is currently injured. Will not be back until after All Star break, probably. And there was some interesting rumors and some news that came out that Rich Paul, one of the most successful agents in basketball, um, most famously LeBron James' agent and friend, um, very successful in his own right. It was reported that Rich Paul is talking to the Thanasis Antetokounmpo, Giannis's brother, who is also a Bucks player, and trying to get in with Giannis via the Thanasis and trying to have the opportunity to represent Giannis so he can get Giannis out of Milwaukee. Rich Paul very famously, more recently, um, well, two times more recently, got Ben Simmons out of Philadelphia. That was a couple years ago, and then even further back, got Anthony Davis out of New Orleans when he wanted out of New Orleans. Rich Paul, the guy you call when you want to get out of somewhere. Um, this is all rumors. This is all hearsay. Another thing came out after that that Giannis was very close to firing his longtime agent very recently. It did happen. His agent is still his agent, I believe, at the moment of recording this video. But Rich Paul is trying to wiggle his way in there and trying to be like, "Hey, let me represent you just for this like thing you want to get done, and then I can be your agent, or you can just do whatever." But like, Rich Paul wants to help Giannis get out of there. Um, is it a smart move? I mean, if you want to get out of somewhere, you call Rich Paul. I give Rich Paul a lot of shit. I haven't talked about Rich Paul a lot on this channel, but I'm not the biggest Rich Paul fan. I think he's a lot of things that aren't positive. That I won't say, but I he gets the job. He gets the job done. You can hate somebody personally, but professionally, you have to respect him. You have to respect him. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for the Giannis stuff. I just wanted to put that here at the end. Um, Interesting stuff. If Rich Paul does indeed become Giannis's agent, um, Giannis is out of there. He's completely out of there, and whatever team is trading for him has to understand he probably won't play for the next couple weeks as we close in on the trade deadline here. Um, pull my calendar. How many more weeks do we have of the trade deadline? Um, we have a week and a half, maybe. Yeah, a week and a half, maybe. So we'll see what happens, man. Some other and also this is some other news I heard was that like almost every trade has been stopped recently, like the trade talks and everything, like the rumors have stopped because everybody's waiting for what Giannis wants to do or what Giannis says so they can go about more league business and make some other tweaks because teams want to know what the asking price for Giannis is and if they can get in on it. Um, I think that's stupid. I think you should just make your trades, and if you miss out on Giannis, you miss out on Giannis. Obviously, if you're a team like the Knicks, you wait. If you're a team like Atlanta, you wait. If you're a team like one of these, you wait. But like, if you're one or the other, we'll say like, what is it, 20 something team, 30 something, whatever many teams. If you're like the other half of the league, you're not getting Giannis. Just do some trades. Make it fun for people like me who have to talk about the league. All right, all right. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you all next time. Cheers.